start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnevi Shunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatra Stirairangaihi Sushtuvagam Sastanubihi Veshema Devahi Tam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vrittashrava Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti Nastakshorarishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad with Shankaracharya. We have finished the 6 mantras of the Upanishads and the 7 karikas. Karikas are commentary of Gaudapada on the Mandukya Upanishadic mantras. What we are studying is Shankaracharya's Bashyam on those Mandukya karikas. Very, very beautiful portions of the Upanishads. In this portion of the commentary of Shankaracharya, he analyzes the various theories of creation. In the traditional school, there were 6 schools of Astika philosophers who believe in the Vedas. And there are 6 schools which do not believe in the Vedas. The Bauddha Matham, Buddhism and Jainism and Charvaka, these are all who don't believe in the Vedas. Those people who believe in the Vedas are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa, and Dvaitids. All of these schools have one common element, which is Dvaita. Advaita Vedanta is the only school which says that there is no Dvaitam in this world, there is only Advaita. Advaita means there is one Brahman, one entity in which everything resolves. That is the fundamental difference between Vedanta and all other schools. Throughout the study of Mandukya Upanishad, we are going to study this theory of Advaita. In the last 7th Karika, Gaudapada Acharya gave a small brief introduction to Advaita Vedanta's theory of creation. Because now we are discussing in this portion from 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 karikas, 4 verses are all on the theory of creation. In the 7th karika, which we finished last week, the Advaitic principle of creation is there is something called as Adhishtanam, means substratum. And there is something called as superimposition. Try to understand this philosophy because this is what we are going to study throughout the Mandukya Upanishad. Again and again, we are going to study this. There is going to be a lot of refutations and a lot of negations and all that, but try to understand the basic. The basic is what? Waker is the Adhishtanam, the substratum for the entire dream world. Observer is the substract, Waker. Similarly, for this waking world, there is a substratum called as Brahman. Brahman means it is the observing principle of this waking world, which is the Chaitanya Tattva, Chit, Chit Tattva, observer. So when you try to understand it with reference to the dream world, the waker is the observer. With reference to the waker's world, Brahman or pure consciousness is the observer. Consciousness, awareness. Try to get these two levels of realities. Compared to the dream, waking is real. Compared to the waking, Brahman is real. If you understand this, then you can follow Mandukya very, very easily. So what is the world? Then world is an appearance in the observer consciousness. I am the observer consciousness. In me, this whole Jagrat avastha is coming. Swapna avastha is coming. Sushupti avastha is coming. I'm using Sanskrit words for the waking state, dream state, sleep state. Like we have waker and the dreamer, we have two realities. One reality is called as Vyavaharika Satyam, transactional reality. And there is a higher reality which is called as Paramarthika Satyam, which is absolute reality. If you understand these terms, very easy to understand the entire Mandukya Upanishad. But so try to pick up this basic of Mandukya. The dream world does not exist separate from the waker. Similarly, the waking world does not exist separate from Chaitanyam principle or Brahman. Whenever you're trying to understand the world, always use waking state and dream state as a comparison between the waking world and Atma. So what do we do in the Mandukya study? We raise ourselves from the wakerhood to Brahmanhood, Atmahood. I am the Atma. I am not the waker, dreamer. And what is that Atma? It is ever free. It is ever free from the waking world. The waker is ever free from the dream world. So if I know that Atma, I can say I am Nitya Muktaha. I am ever free. Moksha is my Swarupam. It is my nature. I can never give up my nature. That is why it is called as Swarupam. So this is what Shankaracharya and Gaudapada Acharya explained in the 7th Karika, which we studied last week. Today, let us go to the 8th Karika.
इच्छामात्रं प्रभोः सृष्टिः इच्छामात्रं प्रभोः सृष्टिः इति सृष्टौ विनिश्चिताः इति सृष्टौ विनिश्चिताः कालात् प्रसूतिं भूतानां कालात् प्रसूतिं भूतानां मन्यन्ते कालचिन्तकाः मन्यन्ते कालचिन्तकाः.
Here, Gaudapada Acharya says there are two other creation theories. One theory says that the whole creation is nothing but the will of God. And the second theory is the whole creation is nothing but a manifestation in time. So time is the creator. These are the two theories. We are going to study another two theories in the next mantra also. So here what he says is Shankaracharya writes this commentary. If it is due to the will of Ishvara, that means Ishvara, Bhagwan should also have a desire. A potter with a will to make a pot will manufacture a pot. So similarly, the Lord should have a desire to create this universe. That is one theory. Another theory, some people think creation is a wheel of time. Kala Deva Srishti Itihi. Time comes, I see this world. Time goes away, I don't see this world. In sleep state, there is no time, there is no world. So what is the cause of the world? Time. So the first one is taken up for analysis, Satya Sankalpaha. Sankalpa means thought. Whenever the Lord thinks of creating a universe, he will create this universe. That is one of the theories. There is no raw material involved. Sankalpa eva srishti. That means the whole creation is jnana adhyasa of the Lord. Jnana adhyasa means what? It is a projection of Ishvara. Here, what it means is, Vedantin says it is mithya srishti. That is what Advaitin say. But this school of thought, who says it is the creation of the Lord, they say it is a satya srishti. Our mind every day, during the daytime, it can create different worlds in our own mind, or also at night during the dream. So this theory of willful creation of the Lord is compared to the theory of dream. This is one theory. There are a lot of loopholes in that theory. We are not going to study those theories in detail. The second theory he is bringing out is Kala, which is the Darwin's evolutionary theory. In time, everything evolves. Science does not believe in God. Science only says it is the whole universe is in evolutionary form. It is evolution, Kala. Even matter is evolving, continuously evolving. Galaxies are being formed every second. Out of this matter, consciousness is generated at an appropriate time. So science says that creation can come without Ishvara, without an intelligent principle. There can be creation due to evolutionary theory. That is what is one of the theories. Next Karika.
भोगार्थसृष्टिरित्यन्ये भोगार्थसृष्टिरित्यन्ये क्रीडार्थमिति चापरे क्रीडार्थमिति चापरे देवस्यैष स्वाभावोऽयम् देवस्यैष स्वाभावोऽयम् आप्तकामस्य का स्पृहा आप्तकामस्य का स्पृहा.
Some people say that creation is God's way of enjoying. It is a mere play of the Lord. It is the nature of the effulgent being. It's the nature of Brahman to create. the question is asked, why should he create if it is only for enjoyment? But there must be some other reason for it. God is always perfect. He is completely fulfilled. So this is the question which is asked regarding this particular theory. In evolution, there is no sentient being involved for the purpose of creation. Matter evolves continuously. That is what we study. There is no Bhagavan required for in the evolutionary theory. Then Bhogatam means for the purpose, Ishvara was wanted joy. He wanted to have Leela. Like some people, when they are bored at home, they will start playing cards, they will do something. So similarly, that is the theory of some people. But they also say that the creation is real creation. What do we say? We say it's a mithya creation. Mithya creation is exactly like a dream. All schools of principle, all schools, other schools, always, even science, they always talk about the real creation outside. What we say is this whole creation which we see in the waking state is existing in an unmanifest form in Brahman. This is slightly difficult to understand, but once I give you the example, it will be very clear. See, what happens to the dream world? Where is it when we are in the waking state? It is in the unmanifest condition. So during certain condition of avidya, when we go to sleep, we have lost our identity with the waking body and the world. That is a state called ignorance. In that state, we project the dream world. So the dream world exists in unmanifest, in the waker. Similarly, in Brahman, this whole waking state is in unmanifest form. In the case of a jiva, it was avidya. That I didn't know my wakerhood, I projected the dream. In the case of Brahman, it is called as Mula Avidya. I don't know that there is a status of mind called as Brahman, which is free from the world. Because of that Mula Avidya, I project or Ishvara projects this waking world. But why it is produced, the reason is given as for enjoyment. That's all. Now, these are all different theories. We don't have to go too deep into it and analyze it because ultimately they are all negated. Simple reasons are given here. Aptakamasya kaspriha. If Bhagavan if that Ishvara is completely fulfilled, why does he require this external creation? We are jivas. We are not fulfilled. We require a creation, fulfill ourselves. Then what those theories, what they say? They say, no, there is no desire, but it is a nature of Ishvara to create this world. So Shankaracharya refutes this playfulness or enjoyfulness of creation and says that Bhagavan can never have a desire. What is then our view? What is Shankara's view? Bhagavan never creates a universe. In the form of Maya Shakti, creation is always there in Bhagavan in potential form. Creation is not separate from Brahman. Like a dream world is not separate from Waker. Waking world is not separate from Brahman. See, try to understand this word Brahman or Atma. Brahman or Atma means our own core nature. which is Satyam, Jnanam, Ananta, Turiya. That is our core nature. I don't know the core nature. Through this Mandukya Upanishad, through all this study, I'm trying to go back to my roots. My root is basically I am ever free Turiyam. Ever free means what? I am not a part of this world. I am not a product of this world. I am consciousness observing principle, which is the ultimate reality of this universe. It's a very, very big jump, but we can all achieve that. It is only a question of understanding. Creation is a swabhava, nature of Brahman. Nature can never be separate from that Atma. So every time when we go to sleep, what happens? It is the nature of that body to sleep and have a dream. Similarly, the nature of Ishvara is to produce this waking state. Waking state is in manifest form, unmanifest form. That manifest form, we call it as Srishti. Unmanifest form, we call it as Layaha. Srishti means creation, Layaha means resolution. So Bhagavan does not do anything. It is his nature. Like heat is the nature of fire. The sun shines. The shining is the nature of the sun. You can't change it. Similarly, this whole creation is the nature of that Ishvara. I am Swabhavaha, the lower order of reality, which is caused by the mind or Maya Shakti, is called as Swabhava. When rope appears as a snake or a streak of water or a pipe, we say it is the Swabhava of the mind. Project something in a wrongful way. Due to what? Due to ignorance. So similarly, I, the Jiva, due to ignorance of my real nature as pure consciousness, I think that this world which I am experiencing is real. What is the actual truth? It is an appearance in consciousness. Like the dream is appearance in the waking world is an appearance in consciousness. That is the truth. So the whole creation is this swabhava of Ishvara, that is our matam, our theory. Okay? So now here I put some slides of revision. Whatever I have not covered, I will try to cover it. Otherwise, whatever I finished, I won't discuss that too much. See, whenever we talk of creation in Vedanta, it is only a temporary stage. It is called as Adhyaropa stage. That is where we are all starting from. Because we experience creation, we experience our body, then that is where we start. So in the starting phase, it is called as Adhyaropa. There is a waking state, there is a dream state, there is a sleep state. When we say this is called as Adhyaropa. In the seventh mantra, in the next mantra, what word you are going to say? There is no waking state, there is no dream state, there is no sleep state. They are all mithya. They exist, but they are not real. So in Adhyaropa stage, it is an acceptance, temporary acceptance. So whenever we study the seventh mantra, now we are going to start studying that after this ninth karika. You should remember, whenever we are talking of the three states, the Upanishad is accepting the three states as a temporary phenomenon. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagatavyaktamurtinaha mastani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. Here the Lord said, the whole creation is in me. Adhyaropa. mark these two verses in the Bhagavad Gita. We are going to study this 30 or 40 times during these 4 chapters of Mandukya Upanishad. These two verses are very important to understand the world. It gives us the central prakriya, methodology. What is the methodology? Adhishtanam and adhyastham. Here, what does the Lord says? The whole world is in me, superimposed in me, the consciousness. In the very next verse, he says, Nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta bhrinnacha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. In the next mantra of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, creation is not in me. I can exist on my own. The waker says, I can exist on my own without the dream world. But the dream world is only superimposition on me. Chaitanyam can say, waking world is only superimposition on me. But I, the Chaitanyam, the Sakshi principle, the observing principle, I can remain independent without the world as we experience this in our sleep state. In the sleep state, what happens? I am able to drop this entire manifested world and I can remain. Nachamastani bhutani. I can remain. Lord Krishna wants Arjuna to remember that principle by which you are able to drop this whole battlefield and then realize your nature. In the 9th chapter, Bhagavan teaches Arjuna this manifestation, unmanifestation, which Shankaracharya is teaching us in Mandukya Upanishad. So, karikas 7, 8, 9 are talking about different theories of creation. Why do we experience this world as we see it? There is one word in the karika number 9. It is called as, the word is Eshaha Devasya Swabhavaha. Very important part of that karika number 9. So what does it mean? Bhagavan does not produce a creation, but it is his swabhava. What is his swabhava? We have studied the 6th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. There we say that the entire waking state, dream state, sleep state, they resolve into Ishvara. Very important, huh? This point is extremely important. Don't forget this, because this whole Mandukya Upanishad rests on this sleep state. Beyond the sleep state is the 7th mantra, where we're going to see that I am ever free. I am Nitya Mukta Swarupaha. But now what we say, the world is manifest, Vyakta Rupaha, Avyakta Rupaha. It is all happening in Ishvara, in Saguna Ishvara. Nirguna Ishvara is called as Brahman. That is, Nirguna Ishvara is the 7th mantra. But Saguna Ishvara is where the manifestation is happening and unmanifestation is happening. Where does it say unmanifestation, manifestation in the Bhagavad Gita? Maya dakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hedunanena kaunteya jagatat parivartate. I am the supervisor. Lord Krishna says, the whole world, Ishvara, here I means the Ishvara. For the whole moving world, unmoving world, Chara and Achara, the whole world is revolving in me. There is something called as Ishvara. It is this line, this verse number 10 of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is a proof that there exists something called as Ishvara in the sleep state. What happens in the sleep state? Avyaktadyaktaye sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratrya praliyante tatrevya sanyake. From the unmanifest, the manifest comes every day. From the manifest, it goes back to unmanifest. This is what we call it as creation. Bhagavad Gita's central message about creation is in the 8th chapter, 18th verse. If you want to remember one theory of creation, think about, write down this particular verse in your important verses diary. Creation is only a manifestation. There is no origination. This will be explained in very big detail in the 4th chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. Here you should only understand it is a manifestation and unmanifestation of Turiyam Brahman. Whole creation is manifestation, unmanifestation. It is the power. Remember, this is the power of that Ishvara. All of us today in the waking state, we are experiencing a world. I'm talking, you are listening. This is the power of one Ishvara. Jagat sarvada asti. It is always there. It is beginningless. This creation is beginningless because God is also beginningless. Creation is also beginningless because the whole creation is in God only. All of us, if we know this theory of creation, our sorrows in life will have no meaning. It is all a appearance. That's all. Like the sorrow of last year is not there now. What was very big sorrow at that time, today it is not there. What the Lord is telling you is while having this sorrow, experiencing the sorrow, if you have this knowledge that this sorrow is a temporary phenomena, delusion is also a temporary phenomena, grief and delusion, moha and shoka. That is what Arjuna was taught in the 2nd chapter. You are suffering from a disease called shoka and moha. All human beings, without any doubt, remember this fact. We all are suffering shoka, moha. Moha means delusion, shoka means grief, sorrow. The only pill, the only medicine which is available is in come to Vedanta and study Mandukya Upanishad. When you study the Mandukya Upanishad, you understand the word as described in the Veda. Veda Pramanam. It is a Pramanam. It is a source of knowledge to see the world in a totally different way. World can't exist separately from that pure Brahman. Like pot cannot exist without clay. Clay is the material cause of the pot. The material cause of this whole world is the easiness, existence principle. Material cause. Intelligent cause is the consciousness, sentient principle. There is no dream without a waker. There is no waker without Brahman. All the time, drop my wakerhood status, claim pure self as my nature. See how beautiful this analysis of Shankaracharya is. Nowhere you will get this type of in-depth analysis of changing our vision. It is a very big exercise. It is a very big achievement if you can have this vision. As you study Mandukya further and further, your vision about yourself and the world will change. Every karika, there are 225 karikas. Every karika is responsible for a small bit of change, transformation in your mind. As you study more and more, it becomes more and more clear. Today you will get something, adhishtanam, adhyasa, superimposition. Again and again, Shankaracharya will repeat this. By knowing a single lump of earth, you can know all the pots. Big pot, small pot, blue pot, yellow pot, green pot. You know all the pots. All the pots are nothing but the earth, the mud. Similarly, by knowing Brahman, you know everything in the world. Mandukya Upanishad question was, Eka vijnanena sarva vijnanam bhavati. Knowing one Brahman, I can know the entire world. I don't know that in the cosmos, there is a star which is so far away. You may not know it, but you know Brahman. That reasoness in that star is lent by this Brahman only. In the past, present, and future, there is only one entity, one observer who lends existence principle to the world. That existence principle is I, the consciousness, existence principle. World and Brahman are not two substances, but the world is a nama rupa. It is mithya. The real entity, the substance is Brahman. But what makes this nama rupa possible? It is the Maya Shakti, which is non-separate from this entity called as Brahman. Shakti and owner. For example, you have a Shakti to speak. The Shakti cannot exist separately. It is always with the owner. Now, try to understand these two words. You see, every time I try to give you two Sanskrit words, but these Sanskrit words have got a lot of deep meaning. One is called as Swarupam. The second is called as Swabhava. What is the difference between Swabhava and Swarupam? Shankaracharya explains this. He says Swabhava is the Maya Shakti. So there is one Brahman, that is one entity, which is a pure factor, which is what we all are. That when it expresses its Swabhava, it is called as Maya Shakti. It is called as Vyavaharika Satyam. The whole world is the Swabhava of that Brahman. What is the Swarupa of that Brahman? Swarupa means what is its real nature? Satchidananda Swarupa is Satchidananda is the Swarupa of that purity. Whenever we talk of Swarupam, we always have to think that it is a higher reality. It is transcendental. What is the Swarupam of a waker? Waker is conscious of the waking world. Higher principle. What is his Swabhava? He can project a dream in the world. This is Swabhava. Similarly, Brahman, Swabhava is this waking world. His Swarupam is pure consciousness, pure existence. It's a very, very fine difference. You have to meditate on this to get the full grasp of this, because then only you will understand what is that immanent nature, which is the Swabhava of God, and what is the transcendental nature, which is the pure Sat, pure Chit. Both are important for us to know. Why? I am that pure Sat in my sleep state. That pure Sat is appearing as this body world in the waking state. So with reference to the pure Sat, this is a transactional Vyavaharika reality. With reference to the higher principle, which is the Sat principle, that is the transcendent principle compared to the Vyavaharika. If you have not understood this, again, you can put in the chat box. I will try to explain to you. Gold is the swarupam of a chain. It can exist. Gold can exist separately. It can exist without the form of a chain. But what is the chain? When you want to when you want to define a chain, you will say it is a swabhava. It is the nature of the gold to convert to look as nama rupa. Chain, bangle, ring, all these are also bhava. It is the appearance, it is the name and form. But the swarupam is gold. Similarly, swarupam of Brahman is pure consciousness, chaitanya, without the word. Swabhava is the waking state, dream state, sleep state, and all the prapanchas which come along with it. Maya can never remain separate from creation, separate from the pure principle. See, we say this electron, proton, neutron, they are continuously in motion. That is science. So, what is that trying to explain? It is only explaining the Maya Shakti of that Brahman. Science does not understand consciousness as the substrate. Science only looks at the world and says, oh, there is a proton, there is electron, there is some matter which is continuously changing. Whether they study that far distant planet or galaxies which are getting created every minute, they are only trying to study the Maya Shakti. But who is the observer of that? That observer is the consciousness. That observer is changelessly eternal. Try to understand these two words. Changelessly eternal is Brahman. Changingly eternal is Maya. Parinami Nityam. Kutastha Nityam. Kutastha means it is changelessly Nityam. Nityam means what? It is always there as that conscious. So consciousness, Swarupam, never changes. Gold is gold all the time. What is changing? The Maya Shakti, which is a part of that gold, Maya Shakti, which is a part of that Brahman, always changing. And that is what happens in the Panchabhutas, five elements. Adasya urdhvam prasata tasya shakha guna pravata vishaya pravalaha adasya mulyani anusantatani karmani bandhini manushya loke. 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, very beautiful chapter. One of the Vedantic chapters of Bhagavad Gita very beautifully says, this whole world is nourished by the gunas of Prakriti. Three gunas are there. This Maya Shakti is nothing but guna, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, which is the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. If you study the 14th chapter, you will know the entire world. What is happening to the world? It's always Rajasic. Changing, changing, changing. That is what is Rajas. But it is Anadi. Anadi means it's continuously there. These gunas have been there from less time. So creation is there, always there in Brahman. That is how we have to get the vision of this world. There is one entity, there is one Bhagwan in whom this creation is always there. From him only this whole projection of the creation comes. In him only the whole thing goes away. Layaha. If I know this principle of creation, I will never have any fear of death. Because every day in my sleep, I am going to manifest condition. It is a sample of the death only, nothing else. It is just a change of condition of the body mind. It is a matter which changes. The consciousness never change. What about karma then? Action. It is also part of that Maya only. Karma is also anadi. Prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, all that. It is anadi. It is part of this Maya Shakti only. So, what determines the tomorrow's condition of the world? It is the Maya Shakti. And it is the karma in the Maya Shakti which determines tomorrow. What is tomorrow? How is it different than today? Your actions of today are different than tomorrow's action. Tomorrow you will have it. You will see this. These are all the effects of the Maya Shakti. When I say I am the consciousness principle, Turiya, then what happens? I am not affected. I am not bound by the Jivatva. I am not bound by Maya. I am not bound by Sanchita Karma. I am not bound by Ishvara. I am not bound by ignorance. Five things. So, Anadi Vasana, Karma, Maya influences my waking state, but it can never influence the absolute state, which is Turiyam. But how do I understand this Turiyam now? What is the process? Can I try to finish all my prarabdha karma one day on the 1st of April 2024 or 28? That day I can declare, no, it's not possible. The only way you can understand your Turiyan today is to mentally falsify this entire world as mithya. This is the methodology which is taught in Mandukya Upanishad. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait till for moksha till you reach Vaikuntha or Kailasha or to heaven and realize. Here and now, but Mandukya Upanishad will teach you how to falsify this world of experiences and hold on to that pure consciousness, Turiyam. That is what we are going to do in the next mantra, for which Shankaracharya writes all these commentaries. In Panchadasi also, there is in the 6th chapter, we have seen this verse. For those who have done Panchadasi, the 6th chapter with me, you would remember this. By negation, it does not mean that the world and jiva cease to be perceptible to the senses. Tomorrow morning, after realizing I am pure consciousness, it doesn't mean tomorrow I will not see my body. That is what Panchadasi states. It is only a conviction in my mind that the illusionary character which I was thinking I am, that will be dropped. So that is what is called as moksha. In the waking state. It is not in the sleep state. In the sleep state, everything goes away. If moksha was supposed to be in the sleep state, everybody would have been told that go to sleep, you'll get moksha. But no, in the waking state, I must understand I am a Turiya Atma. End of the world is not an end of appearance of the world, but it is falsification of the appearing and disappearing world in Brahman. Important point. See, some people they don't even come to Upanishads. They say that Upanishad means that we have to give up everything. No, they don't even come. But they don't realize Upanishadic teaching is a very fine teaching, a refinement of the intellect. Nothing else happens physically to us. It is only in the intellect there is a refinement. This swabhava of the change in our conviction is as Brahmanaha swabhava. You can be anybody, rich, poor, male, female, doesn't matter. But if you understand what is this world in this fashion, you are a Brahmana. You are a wise person. Okay? So, Mithyatva Nishchaya of Maya through this jnanam called as Brahma jnanam is moksha. Okay? Once again, I repeat, the falsification of this world as real. You falsify it. It is not real, it is an appearance. That falsification is called as freedom from sorrow. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yodhijanati karma sabhadyate. He who knows me in this way, he is not bound by actions. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, in what way? In the way the Lord has described that this is what the creation is, if you can understand, then you are not bound by anything in life. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrinvan sprishan jikran ashtan jakachan swapan shashan. So, even while you're doing all the activities of eating, thinking, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, all the activities are going on. But what should you think in your mind? Naiva kinchit karomiti. I don't do any action. I, the consciousness. In my presence, everything is happening. Then what happened? You are transcended to your real nature and you have dropped the mithya nature. In spite of creation, in spite of the world of experiences, I should be able to say, I am free. You will never then ask the question, why did God create the world? Why did the rope snake come in? These are all jnana adhyasa. It happens. Jnana adhyasa means there is an error in your thinking. Why the snake is not a pipe, it is not a streak of water. It appears like that. What can I do? To another person, it may appear like a pipe. So knowing Brahman means falsifying the world as mithya. Dehasya eshaha swabhavaha. Okay, this is a very important word. Swabhavaha and swarupaha. I gave you the difference. Go through that again and see all these things are taught within 1 hour. 1.5 hours, we learn this Upanishad. So as you study, you should write down in your as your own notes some points of a discussion which we have during a session, like 2 words, Swabhava, Swarupa. Then Gita mantra, Nachamastani Bhutani. Those 2 mantras, 4 and 5 of the 9th chapter. These are all small things. In one talk, you can write down 10 points. Why should you write this? Because this will help you to revise when you want to study Mandukya after 2 years, after 3 years, you want to study back, go back to your thing. These notes will be of very great, it will definitely benefit you. So we have finished karikas 6 to 9. 6, 7, 8, 9, these are the 4 karikas which talks about the creation theory. And now we are going to enter the 4th volume of notes, which I have circulated already to you. This volume number 4 deals with mantra number 7. You can see there is nothing else except mantra number 7. Introduction to mantra number 7. It goes for about 60 odd slides. Then mantra number 7, Bashyam, starts. It goes on for 81 slides. That means the whole volume from 574 to 646 is all mantra 7. Okay. So what are we doing now? We are doing the first chapter. It is called as what? Agama Prakaranam. In this Aga Prakarana, in the first chapter, what is the content of it? There are 12 mantras of the Upanishad. The first six mantras they are talked about, it is called Atma Vichara. That is what we are doing now. The seventh mantra will tell us what is the ultimate nature of this whole universe and also of my nature. Then what happens? This first chapter has got 29 karikas. Karikas are commentaries on these mantras. We have finished 9 karikas. That means there are 20 other karikas which we have to do after the seventh chapter. So for the seventh mantra, so not seventh chapter, seventh mantra. So seventh mantra has got 20 karikas. Mantras 1 to 6 has got 9 karikas. That is the whole of first chapter. So it's a very beautiful study, very systematic study with Shankarabashyam. That is why this is a very, very deep, involved study. You need to revise if you want to get moksha in life, freedom from my mind. There is no other way but to understand this teaching correctly. Again and again, go through these mantras, go through what Shankaracharya say. Let it revolve in your own mind. As it revolves, what happens is the mind settles down to a few ideas, three, four ideas. That's all. Those three, four ideas will help you to drop this reality in the external world and say that I am the substrate. I am the pure consciousness. You are able to do this small job correction in your thought process, that is called as moksha. Very easy. Just follow systematically what Shankara is teaching. Okay, now we are going to start the introduction to mantra number 7. Shankaracharya writes a very elaborate introduction. Why? Because the crux of this whole Upanishad is the seventh mantra. After that is only the Omkara Vichara and the Upanishad ends. Omkara Vichara is a meditation on Omkara. For those people who don't understand the seventh mantra while it is being taught, they may require the upasana of Omkara to only get the right understanding of the seventh mantra. Here, in the first paragraph of introduction, Shankaracharya starts in a very, very slow, beautiful way. He takes it step by step, like he's teaching a child. He says, we have finished the three padas. First pada is the waking, second pada is the dream, third pada means the leg, the three legs of our personality. So the third pada is the sleep state. Now all these three padas have been explained. Now the Upanishad is going to say that all these three padas, waking, dream, and sleep, are nothing but one consciousness, which has outward consciousness in the waking state, inward consciousness in the dream state, and there is no consciousness, absence of consciousness in the sleep state. But there is a fourth state, which is the fourth pada. It is called as the Turiya pada. What about the Turiya pada? Can it be described by words? Shankaracharya says, you cannot describe the fourth pada, which is beyond the waking, dream, and sleep state. Through words you cannot describe. Yato vacho nivartante. Taittiriya Upanishad. No words can describe. You will see the reasons. Shankaracharya himself will give you all the reasons. He will guide us step by step. So the only way to understand this fourth pada is Vishesha Pratisedana Eva. Vishesha Pratisedana means what? By negating the attributes, by Neti method, one can reveal this Turiyam. Nirdidikshati, one can reveal this Turiya. See how he is introducing this whole Turiyam, the whole seventh mantra. When we study only the seventh mantra, we will not understand all this. You see, that is why the karikas are extremely important. Commentary, Shankara's Bashyam is so important. Fourth pada comes sequentially. Sequentially from what? After third pada. Now, what is the fourth pada? Na antaprajnam, na bahishprajnam. Now, antaprajna means it is not that it is not conscious of the inner world. It is not conscious of the outer world. That means it is not the wakerhood. It is not the sleeperhood. It is not the dreamerhood, but it is the pure Chaitanya. So the fourth pada cannot be positively defined because it has no attributes. See, many people think that, this Brahman or something, God cannot be defined, it cannot be shown because it doesn't have attributes. It is formless. Ultimately, God is formless. But what about the one which we see in the temple? That is for puja purposes. That is for upasana purpose. Understand God, you have to come to this Upanishad. So here Shankaracharya says, by negatively one can define. Definitions are twofold. Vidhi mukha, nisheda mukha. Vidhi mukha means direct definition. This man is fair, he is bald, he is tall, he is wearing so and so shirt. You can give direct description. Indirect definition, he is not the one who is next to my friend. He is not the one who is there. By negating all others, you will describe this man. So whatever is remainder is the ultimate definition of that pure consciousness. Suppose you say, my first son is very good in studies. Indirectly, what are you saying? The second son is not good in studying. By negating the first one, you give the description of what is the second son. So it's an indirect definition. Similarly, Vidhi means waking state is there. Brahman direct definition is not possible in the waking state because waking state itself is an effect. It is a karyam. Nishedamukha, waking state is not there in sleep state. That is what is called as Nishedamukha. But what is there in the sleep state is what is called as Brahman. Whatever is left behind is Brahman. The remainder portion is the Turiya pada. Turiya means what? It is not the fourth pada. It is only sequentially we are teaching, but it is the only pada because that is Satyam and the other three padas are Mithya. Then there is some questions of why this Purvabakshi comes and says, why can't you define Brahman? Then Shankaracharya says, there is a rule. What are the 5 conditions which are required for description of anything? Number 1, I have taught this before also in Taittiriya Upanishad. Jati, Guna, Dravya, Sambandha, Kriya. These are the 5 factors required for description by words. Jati means what? Species, human being. Guna means what? He is tall, attributes, tall, fair, so these are all attributes. If the person has got attributes, if there is a species called as consciousness, and there is not everything else is, or if there is species means there is a but consciousness doesn't have a species. Consciousness doesn't have a guna. Consciousness doesn't is not a dravyam. It is not a substance. Consciousness doesn't have a sambandha. Father and son, teacher and taught. You can define a teacher with reference to the taught. Son can be described with reference to the father. But there is no sambandha possible between consciousness and the world. We will see why the sambandha is not possible. We'll be studying that. Then kriya. That conscious does not do any action. Like a driver, he does action of driving. So you can say that he is a driver. You can describe the person. But consciousness, just now we discussed in Bhagavad Gita, naiva kinchit karomiti. It doesn't do anything. So Shankaracharya says, jati guna dravya sambandha kriya nasti. Therefore, you cannot describe by words. Brahman cannot be positively revealed through words. Therefore, Upanishad uses the methodology of negation. Wakerhood is negated, dreamerhood is negated, sleeperhood is negated. But after you negate this three status of the mind, what remains? That is called as Turiya. So in the seventh mantra, we will say Turiyam is not the waker. Turiyam is not the dreamer. Turiyam is not the sleeper. What is Turiyam? Turiyam is Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. These are all introductions by Shankaracharya for the seventh mantra. He's trying to tell us how I should understand the seventh mantra. 143 verses, 143 slides are there to explain one mantra. These are all preparations. So what is left behind, some people will say it is Shunyam. But here, Shunyam is not correct because it is an Adhisthana. Any Mithya Vastu will be is false only because of the Adhisthana. Rope snake is possible only because of the rope. Waker, dreamer, sleeper is possible only because of consciousness, which is the Adhisthana. No Mithya can survive without Satya Adhisthana. Okay. So what is negated in the seventh mantra? First pada is negated. What is the first pada? Vishwa and Virat. Virat means what? The Devata which controls the external world. Vishwa means what? I, the individual self who is experiencing the waking world, is called as Vishwa. The second pada is the dreamer and the dream world. Third pada is the sleeper and the sleep. All these three are negated. When the things are negated, what is remaining is the unnegatable. That unnegated thing is called as Paramarthikam. Vyavaharikam can be negated. Pratibhasikam can be negated. Pratibhasikam means the dream world, projection of the mind. Vyavaharikam means the sense organs world. Interactions can be negated. But what can't be negated is called as Turiya. And that Turiyam is of a higher state because it is like the waker cannot be negated with reference to the dream. Similarly, Turiyam cannot be negated with reference to the waker. I will finish this slide and then we'll stop today. There are three categories of things in the world. What are the three types of products in the world? What are the three things which we experience in the world? One is called as Sat. Second is called as Asat. I have also taught this before, but I'm just revising. Mithya. Third one is called as Mithya. What is Sat? Sat means it is always there. Consciousness is Sat. It can never be negated. You are conscious when you are a child. You are conscious in your old age. You are conscious in your youth. Consciousness has never changed. That is what is your real nature. It will never change even when you drop the body will go, but consciousness will remain. But then you will not experience the world. To experience the world, you need a medium of the body. What is asat? Asat means it is always non existent. You need not negate the asat. Why? It is never there. For example, you don't have to go and say that I will negate the horn of a rabbit or flowers in the sky or unbarren son of a barren woman. They are all non-existent. So you don't have to negate the asat. You can't negate the sat. What can you negate then? What is negatable is called as mithya. Don't forget this 1578 slide. It gives you the definition of mithya. I can negate the waking state, dream state, and the sleep state and hold on to the Turiya as the sat. Whatever is negated is called as mithya. What cannot be negated is called as sat. So through negation, I can bring my mind to the sat principle. Okay? This is a very powerful logic. I will explain to you next week. I will continue with this slide of the three categories of what we experience in the world. It's a very elaborate topic. So this is how slowly we will be understanding the seventh mantra. The seventh mantra, the next three, four sessions are very, very important. Till we finish the seventh mantra, try not to miss a talk because they are the crux of the entire 200 200 karikas. See, once you understand this, suppose you say, I have understood the seventh mantra and I know my real. You need not attend the other classes. You'll say, okay, good. Because I cannot judge what your mindset is. If you are able to hold on the Turiyam state, it is your realization. But many of us, 9 out of 10 people will require to study the further karikas because you have to learn to hold on to that consciousness as your real nature and live life. That nishtha has to be there. For getting the nishtha, we continuously study the balance part of the Upanishad. Okay, so I will start from this slide 578 next week. And it's a very interesting portion. As we study, there will be some questions asked by Purva Pakshi, this length mantra. All those things will help us to uh, refine our thinking about consciousness. Okay, so I'll stop here for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. We'll go through the chat first. Venkatesh is saying, it is the view of Gaudapada that creation is the glory of Brahman. You're right. Creation is the glory. It is the nature of Brahman. It is the Swabhava of Brahman. Maya Shakti is the Swabhava of Brahman. It is the knowledge which he presents. It is the theory of Vedanta. You see how Vedanta presents creation is what is in this seventh Karika. We are going to study this theory of Vedanta's creation in the fourth chapter. Very, very big analysis. We are only just starting, putting the small seeds, but you're going to understand this entire creation in a very, very deep science. It's a very deep science. We're going to study step by step. But what you have understood is correct. Any questions on this, Venkatesh?
Yeah, now I'm able to unmute.
Yeah.
Yes, the reason I asked this was that there are 4 theories that we discussed.
Yeah.
So all of those theories, out of that 4 theories, the 3 theories are not acceptable for us as students of Advaita.
Correct. That's correct. You're absolutely right. See, when we say it's a will of God and all that, it's a flimsy theory. Ultimate theory is the theory of Adhishtanam and Adhyasa. It
Okay,
is
so
a Shakti.
but this theory that it is a glory of Brahman or glory of Ishvara is an acceptable theory for Advaitins.
Correct. It is an acceptable theory for Advaitin.
Yeah.
Good. Correct. We are going to study this. It is presented in a very elementary way in the seventh Karika. But we are going to study what is this creation? Is it creation or is it appearance? This distinction between creation, origination, and appearance, these 3 words, we are going to study this in the 4th chapter. In the 4th chapter, what Gaudapada is going to say is, Advaita Vedanta says there is no creation as such, there is no origination as such, but there is only appearance. So in Advaita, we use the word appearance instead of creation and origination. That clarity will come in the 4th chapter. Why do we call it as an appearance? Because if we say that creation is Satyam, the observer consciousness is also Satyam. It means there is Dvaitam. Dvaitam means always there will be fear, there will be samsara. You will always remain finite in Dvaitam. All this reasoning is given in the 4th chapter. It's a very step-by-step process of teaching why in Advaita Vedanta we say waking world is an appearance exactly like the dream world is an appearance for a waker. The waking world is an appearance in consciousness. In Turiya, it is an appearance. So first you have to study what is Turiyam, understand Turiyam clearly in the 7th mantra. Then you have to apply the knowledge that the experience of the waking world is an appearance in this consciousness.
Yeah.
I've given you a lot of material in 3 minutes, but
Yeah.
it is a long study. It's a long study because our intellect today thinks the world which I am experiencing, it is a real world. To change that conviction in my mind, it requires time and it requires logic. It requires the logic of the Veda, because it is the Veda which is telling me what is the difference between creation and appearance. If it is creation, it will be Satyam. If it is Satyam, if the world is Satyam, the observer consciousness is also Satyam. There will be two Satyams. You can never have moksha. Why do we study? Why do we come to study Vedanta? Because I want to be free. I want to know, I want to learn. Through this study, I want to understand how can I be free from this body, mind, and the world. That is the goal. And that goal can be achieved only in one way, which Shankaracharya will say, come to the fourth chapter, I will explain to you. The only way is understand the experiencing world as just an appearance, like you experience a dream, like that only. You experience the birth, the death, with everything. Our whole life is an appearance. But this appearance is mithya, but mithya cannot be there unless there is a satya adhishtanam. That adhishtanam is what my real swarupam is. That is what is called as consciousness. That is what is called as Turiyam Brahma.
Yeah.
This is the highest Vedanta. In no other textbook of, in no other Upanishads also, you can get this clarity as you can get in Mandukya Upanishad. Very, very detailed analysis of our experiences.
Yeah.
Good, very good question, Venkatesh. Thank you.
So it is a very relaxing thought. It's a very relaxing thought for meditation that
Yes.
creation is the glory of Ishvara.
That's
like
correct.
spark in the fire.
Yes, you're right. You see, when we meditate, that this whole appearance is just a glory of that Lord, then what will happen? My mind will be very peaceful.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have to worry too much. This appearance, it is a glory of that Lord. That's all. Whatever Lord I have been meditating upon, it is His glory. That's all. Very good. That is the way we should take this knowledge. Okay, after that, I have Nandu Desai. He's saying, Swabhava may change, Swarupa will never change. Absolutely correct. Swabhava will change. Waking state, dream state. This is the Swabhava. This is the nature of the matter. But what is the Swarupa? Swarupa is Satchidananda. That will never change. That is why whenever we feel, when we look deep inside us, you invariably, everybody will come to the same conclusion. What is that conclusion? I have not changed. I have not changed is everybody's conclusion. But what is that which has not changed? Nobody knows. When you come to Vedanta and learn to discriminate consciousness awareness from the body mind, then only you will get that conviction. Yes, this is what has not changed, and it will never change, because that is the reality. You see, reality means what? It is satyam. There is only one satyam, and that satyam is you accept it. That is what I am. That's all. The whole Vedanta is very simple. Accept satyam as satyam. Accept mithya as mithya. Body, mind, world is mithya. All experiences, good, bad, all experience is mithya. Mithya means what? Mithya doesn't mean non-existent. It means you respect mithya. You respect the world. It is there, but it is of a lower order of reality. Yeah, Nandu, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just one more thing about like wherever the word is coming like about like Sushupti in scriptures, so that we have to relate with like Ishvara. That's correct, right?
Can you repeat that again?
Wherever the word is coming as like Sushupti in scriptures, so
Yes.
that Sushupti is related with Ishvara. That's correct, understanding.
Sushupti is always related to Ishvara. Correct. So you should
Yeah, and
always say, in Sushupti, the Jivatvam resolves in Ishvara. And you are free to own up your Swarupam as the same as Ishvara, which is Sat Chit Ananda.
yeah, and one more thing, sir.
We are eager to study that state of Turiyam because Turiyam is Ananda Swarupa. It is the Swarupam of that Turiyam is bliss. And everybody loves bliss. That is why we all try to study again and again this Vedanta. It will not. After some time, you'll say, I must study. I must know this nature. I must try to get this because that is myself. So you are correct. Sushupti is always with reference to me.
One more thing, sir, about like when we study like a Brahma Sutra and the very second sutra, which is about like Jalma Adhyaya Yataha. So that is, I think, with the Shankaracharya's commentary, it is referred this particular mantra of like Mandukya Upanishad. Esha Sarvas,
Yes.
Esha. Yep.
Yes, that's correct. You refer to my notes in the I have written this Brahma Sutra notes about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I had written the notes. Janmadasya, the second mantra, the sutra, very beautiful notes are available in my website. Go through that, and it's a very beautiful section of Brahma Sutra. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next is Ramesh Raghavan. He says, can you please clarify the two sloka of Bhagavad Gita 4 and 5? Sloka 4, the Lord says, creation is in me. And the next sloka that negates is not in me, little unclear to me. Okay. See, Ramesh, it's like this. You should take the dream example first. Okay. I'll explain the ninth mantra, the ninth chapter, fourth mantra, and the fifth mantra first with reference to the dream and the waker. Then what you should do, after that, you should say, I am the Atma, and then take the mantra with reference to Atma and the waker. Okay, there are two steps. There are two steps involved in understanding this. These two slokas in the Bhagavad Gita, they are supposed to be called, they are called as the trickiest slokas. When you read, people will never understand. And every time a student will search for a teacher to explain this mantra. I have known students going to 10 or 12 teachers. Every teacher they meet, they ask the same sloka answer. They say, sir, I have not understood. Can you explain? Every Swamiji who comes to town, they'll ask this sloka. Sir, I have not understood. Explain. I have not understood this. Explain. Okay. I'll explain to you. See, you should understand the basic principle of two states, two levels of reality. One is called as Vyavaharikam, another is called as Paramarth. In the fourth sloka of the ninth chapter, the world is in me. Lord Krishna is saying, as who is Lord Krishna here? Lord Krishna is not the physical body. He is referring to himself as the consciousness principle, awareness principle. So he says, as awareness, as consciousness, the whole waking world is in me. I am the seer. Without me, there is no world. Without a seer, without a consciousness principle, the world doesn't exist. So the world is existing in me. Means what? The whole world exists in the observer principle. take the example of waker and dream. Waker will say what? As soon as you get up in the morning, you'll say the whole dream world was existing in me, the waker who was the observer of the dream. But in the waking state, we will say that the dream world is not in me. Because in the dream world, it appeared in me. But as soon as I have woken up to my real nature of waker, I will say that dream world is not in me now. So that waker can make both the statements. Dream world was in me. Dream world is not in me. After waking up. Now you take the example of Atma and waker. Don't look at it from the waker's angle. Now you know that there is something called as Atma. What is that Atma? Atma is a pure consciousness principle, awareness. Body is not awareness. Body has got awareness which is lent by this pure awareness, Brahman or. So, with reference to Atma, which is consciousness, that pure consciousness can say, the world appears in me, the Atma. But then the world is not being seen. For example, in the Sushupti state, there is no world. But Atma is still there because that is the ultimate observer.
Right.
Without the world being there, that pure consciousness can say that world is not in me, I am there, still there. That I, which can remain as the pure consciousness without the world, is the fifth mantra.
Oh, got it.
World is not in me, world is in me, world is not in me. When you say world is in me, it is Vyavaharika Satya. When you say world is not in me, it is Paramarthika Satya. Am I clear, Ramesh?
Yes, sir. I understood, sir. Thank you.
Very good. If you have
Thank you, sir.
understood, everybody who is listening has understood.
No,
Good.
no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, this is a very tricky verse. There are 4 verses in Gita which are very tricky verses. You don't know what it is, but then once you have got the formula to open up that mantra, this is the formula. The same formula you have to use in Upanishad also. In the 7th mantra, you will say there is no, I have to drop the waking state, drop the dream state, drop the sleep state. And then I have to say, I am the Turiya Atma. Same principle. If you have followed to say that in the sleep state, you can say it in the waking state itself. You can say, I am not the world. So that is why in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it says, Naiva kinchit karomiti. Lord Krishna says, I am never doing anything. Actions are happening at the Prakriti level. Prakriti is Swabhava of Atma. But what is the Swarupa of Atma? Pure Atma, Satchidananda Swarupa. So, Swarupa also you should know, Swabhava also you should. That is why the Shankaracharya's analysis of Swarupa and Swabhava, I like it very much. Because in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he will remind about the Swarupa and Swabhava. At that time, again, you will try to understand in a different context. Good question, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just to reiterate, Swabhava of Atma is Prakriti and Swarupa of Atma is Satchidananda.
Correct. Absolutely.
Got it. Thank you very much, sir.
Always keep thinking of this. The moment you contemplate on this, immediately, and what should you do? Accept the Swabhava of Atma also, accept the Swarupa of Atma also, and let the life go on. That's it.
The Swabhava of Atma, that will be our material nature.
Yes, it is material
And
nature.
this-
It will keep on changing.
our absolute.
And the absolute nature is Atma. That is, it never changes.
Got it. Understood.
Good. Very good. I'm very happy
you,
you're
sir.
doing such a big analysis in this mantras, because this mantra is repeated almost 15 times in the commentary. You know, every chapter, every 10th verse, Shankaracharya will talk about these two mantras. Because all the time you have to understand Atma and Anatma have to be differentiated. And this is the only way it can be differentiated, by saying it is a lower order of reality, I am a higher order of reality. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Shama,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. Yeah.
Hari Om, Shikiji.
Yeah, Hari Om.
Yeah. No, it's just basically to applaud you for all taking such pains to explain it so beautifully, that actually I find it difficult to find words how to say. So you have almost, not almost, I think completely resolved this perpetual conflict of this and that, this whole conundrum of Jiva Jagat Ishvara. It's
Yes.
just constantly this division in the mind at the thought level is the most destructive process, I feel. And now I'm thinking, what is this division? Actually, there is no division. This is really how it is feeling on the bhava level. And today's your Swarupa and Swabhava is just so interesting. So it seems like as if the Swabhava is actually the structure of whatever exists, at a Virat level and Vishwa level. So Swabhava is the structure, while the Swarupa is the content of what it might be.
Correct, yes.
In terms of this thing. So what in terms of an experiential level, so I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm just making all these strange comments. It's just because it's so joyful and I can't help sharing my joy. It's almost like, you are approaching the ocean of the infinite limitless, and you can almost start feeling the sea cooling breeze. This is something beautiful with Ramakrishna Paramhans. He actually describes it, and I couldn't understand it. But now, as we are going through your classes, especially the Mandukya Upanishads, one can see that's how slowly we are moving away from all the areas of conflict to this very unified understanding. And there's just only one little question, not question, I just want to know, because even your meditation was so wonderful. What I've just suddenly gathered today is that you do a very clever thing of making the meditation brief. And I feel this is something which I want to take it home today, that really not keep life simple. Don't make it complicated by, increasing the time or this and that, because there's some kind of a thing which I feel, oh, I must spend 20 minutes, I must spend half an hour, 40 minutes. But so this, I just realized what you get in 10 minutes is probably just perfect, So, and then the mind will automatically, over a period of time, it will automatically want to be more into that meditative state. So you're helping the mind rather than structuring it to say, oh, I must sit for half an hour for meditation. Would you agree with this?
Absolutely, yes. See, I believe that, going inward is just a simple process of taking the mind and exposing to the reality. That's all.
Yeah.
See, the reality is there in our minds. That is what all the Upanishads they say. Where is Atma to be located? It is inside your mind as the awareness principle. That's all.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is train your mind to go inward and expose it. I am the Atma. The moment you inwardly say it in your mind, I am the Atma. I am not any of the thoughts which are coming and going. That's all. That is the exposure to your own self. The self is, once the mind knows how to get a glimpse of that self, that is enough.
Yeah.
The mind will remember. This is the Swarupa of Atma.
Mm,
You
mm.
don't have to sit for 5 hours in Samadhi. No, not required. That is the difference between Samadhi of yoga school and Vedantic meditation of using Shastra to reveal the nature of Atma.
No, wonderful. I mean, I don't know why I would say it's only today I've discovered that why do you make it life so complicated? You know, it's much simpler than you think. So
Correct.
you have actually narrowed it down to, and you've even used during your talk about taking not too many things, but at a time taking smaller number of things to
Yeah.
contemplate and meditate on. So yeah, no,
So
wonderful.
as
So I can only say a big thank you.
you, Shankaracharya will teach you all step by step. He takes you like a child. I'm telling you, he takes you step by step, and he will teach you the highest possible, the highest truth. But he is an amazing teacher. Amazing teacher. There's nothing you can't replace it with anybody else's teaching.
But
I mean,
you have grasped it so well, and now I understand also your passion for teaching, you know, as to why you want to share this knowledge with such deep passion. Thank you. I'm grateful to the Lord for you to teach. Thank you.
thank you. Shanta, go ahead. Shanta, are you there?
Yes, yes. I'm just trying to get my question. Yeah. Namaste, Shekharji. It's wonderful, and I like particularly the fact that you put all together all the theories of creation, which people think. And surprisingly, I think one of the things I always thought, and I think, no, I mean, I know I'm a Vedic student and I shouldn't, it's not in that way, but I remember asking the question also once that God also has desires. Brahman also has desires. That's why he has created so many lokas, right?
Yeah.
And because he also likes variety, just like we as human beings like variety. So that was something. And so it almost, for me, it is almost like a big game of Ishvara or Brahman, which he enjoys actually looking at us suffering and all of that, which I always think that is how, you know, the God is enjoying himself looking at
Yeah.
the world, thinking it's real and how we behave and we get angry, and then he's just enjoying at our cost. But today, I think when you said that God, that makes it actually God and or the Brahman in you different, and so Dvaitam comes in, which
Yes.
makes it unreal. That
All
is
schools have
fine.
got Dvaitam. That is the problem.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes it actually Dvaitam. So in one of the questions already you answered about the Swarupa being Prakriti and the Swabhava being the Brahman or the consciousness. Um, I wanted to know, I mean, you mentioned as well in this talk about the unmanifested form. So, in Vedic uh, belief or in Vedic theory, we believe that the creation, the world is in the unmanifested form, and it is the Maya Shakti which creates this. So, my question is actually relating the you have a consciousness which is nitya and everything, right? Within it is a Maya Shakti. If I'm just saying aloud, you can correct me
Correct.
if
You're
I'm
right.
not right. Yeah. So within it is a Maya Shakti, and within the Maya Shakti is the Prakriti which is being projected.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Maya and Prakriti are the same. It's exactly the same. Two words. That's all. It's meaning the same.
Okay. So that is what I was just going to ask, because if you talk about Prakriti, then where did Maya disappear? Because that was one of my questions. So the so within Brahman, the Maya Shakti actually projects.
Correct.
So therefore, the whole thing becomes mithya because it is actually the projection by Maya.
Correct. That's right. You see, the moment
So
you understand
why
the
can't we
world is
say this is
Nitya,
itself Maya? Because no, but my question, I want to go one step forward and ask, why do we not refer it as Maya rather than saying it's a projection of Maya, but it is Maya? Is it right to
It's
say?
Maya. You can call it Maya or you can call it projection of Maya. It's the same thing. Dream is a projection of the jiva, or dream is nothing but the jiva.
No, Jiva cannot be dream. How can Jiva become dream?
So the waker is nothing but the dream world, because dream world is his own projection. Dream world is the projection of the waker's mind.
Yeah.
So you can say that the dream world is the waker's mind. Similarly, Maya is nothing but it is the power of that Brahman. It is the power which belongs to that. Power always rests on some ashraya.
Hmm.
Power is always with reference to some ashraya. There must be a holder of power.
Yeah, or the source of power, shall I
Yeah,
say? Okay, so yeah, that is clear. And again, coming to this 9.4, I know it is one of my favorite verses, I must say. This one, and very similar to that, is 7.12. Both of them keep saying the same. I mean, say exactly the same thing in the last sentence, that that you are in me and I'm not in you.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm not in you, but you are in me. Uh, I think it. The very way it says is na chaiva satvika bhavaha rajasa tamasascha ye
yeah,
matye veti tan vidhi na tvaham teshu temai. That is the 12th verse of the 7th one, which is I remember talking to you about it as well, and I can never forget it. It's these are verses which always remain, which I don't know. And I've gone to, as you said, I've gone to many the talks which are links in your on your website of
yeah.
Bhagavad Gita verse by verse, and they gave different explanations of how to. And I think one which I actually, it sort of clarified for me, was the light and the dance bit, where in the 7th chapter, 12th, or the you can say 9th chapter, 4th verse, it says that there is a dance in the dark, you will not see it without the light. So the light is not, so light contains light is not a part of the dance. So but without the light you cannot see the dance. So therefore, um, that bit, that na chaham teshu te mai, or the astitvaha, that is what it explains very beautifully. So I don't know if you want to, if the dream state doesn't stick with you, then this one definitely, it's stuck with me, that yes, the light envelopes or light shows you the thing. Without it you cannot see it. So
Correct.
therefore, it is a part, but it is not the part of the dance. So dance could have continued, but you will not be able to see it without the light. And that
Yes.
was one of the things which I just thought I'll share, just in case anybody, you know, can find this interesting as well, this example. Yes, so thank you very much for this. And I'm really waiting for this mantra to unfold, because I can't wait for it. Yeah, thank you.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the seventh mantra is a very, very slow. You see, there are 200, I mean, 150 pages on one mantra, 200 pages. You can imagine how much Shankaracharya has written,
Hmm.
how much importance he gives to this mantra. This one mantra is the centerpiece of the whole Upanishad, on which Gaudapada Acharya has written 200 verses. I mean, there is no other verse, there is no other verse in the entire 112 Upanishads. Unfortunately, you're not in WhatsApp group. I have shared a book of 112 Upanishads in the WhatsApp group to both the Saturday and the Sunday classes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, 112 Upanishads. In all those Upanishads, you don't find a commentary as powerful as this Mandukya account. Not a single Upanishad which is like Mandukya. It's it's uh, it's so amazing that we are able to study this even today. After thousands of years, we are able to study what Shankaracharya has written about these verses, and the
Yeah, I
verse which
think
you
that
have
the
referred.
dream state, yeah, I find the dream state really puts you in that, in that field, that, hang on, who am I? Because I think that was something for me when I understood that you become a sakshi or you are not the body, is the dream state which explains to you, because if you were the body, then how do you know you slept well? You would have, you were
Yes.
off. Yeah, and I think that was my turning point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Venkatesh, you want something? Say something.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, quite an interesting class today. Thanks a lot. And no, because having gone through all that Bhagavad Gita, like so much we used to discuss on 9.4 and 9.5, that verses and all, it's suddenly
Yes.
reminded me. So very interesting. This Mandukya Bashyam is so amazing actually. Any number of times we just go through, it looks something very unbelievable. But having gone through Mandukya Bashyam, once we go back to Bhagavad Gita, like today's verse, what we had done to chapter 218, Atma, Anatma,
Yes.
is a most powerful meditation actually. I mean, all that Deha, Dehi, Sarira, Sariri, so many verses in Bhagavad Gita is referred and all. But with this Mandukya Bashyam, the way the Shankara has given this clarification and all, this embodiment of self is very beautifully explained, this whole the Atma and all. Like the simple example, if we just take the potter example, where the space is conditioned by the pot, and the pot, before the pot is made, it doesn't exist, but it exists only when that is made actually, and it has a distinction which gives a definition of this entire Sushupti, like the different combinations of Sushupti and how it is defined and all. Just one thing I just want to add in this particular class is like Sushupti is Anadi. It is there in the unmanifested form and manifested that it happens. But the Brahman is also Anadi. But Brahman is Anant, and Srushti has got Anta. It has the ending. So that makes a big difference between that Prakriti and Maya to understand actually. That is how we can say we could able to see that Brahman is that real Swarupa actually. That
Yes.
yeah, once that embodiment is removed, what is left out is that real Jnana Swarupa. So that is where that Vidya comes into the picture. It's not like that Swarupa and Swabhava, what we have seen. The important feature we need to get that fact is this Brahman is Akaran Brahma, which is a Jnana Swarupa, which can be revealed only by Vidya. This is the reason why we could not, with embodiment, we could not able to find out because of that avidya. She is a Jnana Swarupa. So that makes a big understanding after going through this Bashyam. So it's really very nice actually. Today's meditation and this whole feature, it's so amazing actually, extraordinary.
Thank you,
Thanks a
Venkatesh.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, though, I can understand when you speak, I can understand the depth of your thought process. It's how deep you're able to go, and then how you're able to connect the embodied self and the disembodied self. Embodied
Yeah.
self with Shariram, the three Sharirams. The three
Yes.
Sharirams, the moment you say embodied means the Karana Shariram, the Maya Shakti is already there.
Already
Avidya is
there. Yeah.
already there. The
Yeah.
moment you drop this, what it means is that Vidya, which is that consciousness. And that is,
Yes.
once you know Vidya is my nature, consciousness is my nature, you're free. Moksha is a Swarupam. It's a Nitya Swarupam. That's it.
Yeah.
It is not going to come after study. Before study, I was Muktaha, and after study, Baddhaha, and after study, I'm Mukta. No, you're all Mukta.
Only conditioning, our own conditioning is a restriction.
Correct.
That is what is the real bandha.
And they
Excellent. Yeah.
got a very beautiful structure. See, the structure of Vedanta is so
Yeah.
beautiful. It gives you a structure
Extraordinary.
to think.
It's
Yeah,
very scientific analysis. The whole Bashyam, when I just see Sankara Bashyam, like in the science, we have this hypothesis before a law, there's a lot of hypothesis actually. And
yeah.
ultimately that law is revealed. So whole Shankar Bashyam, I was wondering actually, the Karika of Gaudapadas are very clear actually. He based on whatever this 29 Karikas, but why the Bashyam is required is because of that hypothesis to kill all the 12 the various organizations, Nyaya and Sankhya and all that, so many questions and all. So he made this Bashyam is very, very scientific. I find it very, very extraordinary to make that
Yes.
Ekam Eva Advaita. So
Yes.
Chandogya, this thing is fantastic. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Vigresh. People like you are all people who have been soaked in Vedanta for the last 10, 12 years with me. And so you are able to enjoy this culmination of Shankara Bhashyam, which is so profound. Okay, Vijay, you have a question?
Hari Om, Shekhar-ji. Very, very beautiful session today. I think very amazing. And I love the way Shankaracharya refuted all the reasons of why the creation is, and how he went on to negate, right? So I think when I was hearing that aspect from you, what really struck me to be one of the verses, I really don't recollect, but maybe it's chapter 3 or chapter 6 of Panchadashi, talks about the uniformity of the Brahman at the substratum. It's about the mother who has 2 children. When they take her when she takes them to the shop, they buy these sugar candies, So one has the white color sugar candy of elephant, and then one has the pink parrot, and then both of them fight for that sugar candy. The fight is very gory in the sense they both start hitting each other. But mother there, as a sakshi, watches smiling because she knows that in essence of sugar candy is not in the color or in the form, whether it is elephant or a parrot, it is that sugar which constitutes that. Similarly, that mother is the Lord, where it's not that he enjoys all of us fighting. It is making us through the prapancha alone. Can I put my foot on with my experiences? Can I raise up to understand the paramartha? That is his leelas. I think that has come out. It's not that he is taunting me or is creating problem in me. I think that is what I understood. So though there is a negation, but the same Shankaracharya says is you need only from the seen that I can grow to unseen. I appreciated it. The only question I have had, not a question, but maybe a clarification. There was one of the, in one part of the discourse, it came through as the sakshi aspect of it, in the sense you have to, if there is a sakshi, then if there is a drik, there is a drishya, right? So then if there is a drik and a drishya, then duality is established. Whereas when we are talking about no advayam, but it is advayam, right? We don't want dvayam, but we want advayam. That means even we need to resolve the drishyam, the world, in the drik, which is the ultimate seer. That is probably Swayam Prabha, whatever you say it. So that is one thing I wanted you to clarify to me. How do I, because when I say Turiya is also underlying the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. That means Turiya is always there in all, in the sense on the Turiya as a substratum, these 3 states raise and fall. And eventually they actually dissolve in the Turiya. So Turiya being already there, so, and then we are refuting that these 3 actually does not exist. They are only appearances in this bed of as a wave slashing and raising up and falling down the bed of ocean. So all these 3 stages raise and fall on the bed called Turiya. So I just needed me to understand through you as to how do I differentiate. Should Turiya be called a sakshin, or should Turiya be called something beyond the sakshi?
Okay. The answer is Turiya is beyond Saksham. As long as the Sakshyam is there, that means as long as I am identified with the world and I'm thinking of the world, that means I'm giving some sort of a reality to the world. That means, so when I'm looking at the world and I'm saying this waking world is appearing and disappearing, and I am the Turiyam, then I am not bothered about what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing. That is my Swarupa. I'm only enjoying my Swarupam of Atma. So In Mandukya, what the Upanishad does is a very, very beautiful thing. It says up to the level of the third pada. See, when we do the seventh mantra, this will be made very, very clear. Turiyam has no connection at all with the three states. The three states, the first three padas, Turiyam has got no connection. Why? Because it is Mithya. But Mithya cannot exist separate from Satya. Rope snake is Mithya, but rope snake cannot exist without Satya rope. Similarly, the three states cannot exist without Satyam, which is the ultimate, which in the Mandukya Upanishad, the Karanam and Karyam are taken separate, and Adhishtanam is taken separately. Adhishtanam, Adhyasam, they are taken, these two words are used for the seventh mantra. Karanam and Karyam are used for the first three padas.
First three padas.
Okay.
You should,
Hence we say it's Akarana Brahman. Yeah.
correct. Turiyam is Akaranam Brahman. That point again and again from the third chapter, Shankaracharya and Gaudapada Acharya will drill you. You see, that is why you study the third chapter and the fourth chapter, because the study doesn't stop after knowing Karyam and Karanam of the third padas and the first two padas. You need to study the third chapter and the fourth chapter to understand that Brahman can never, this Turiyam can never be a Karana. That you will know only in the fourth chapter. There are beautiful reasoning given. Up to the third level, you will say that, there is a Karanam and Karya Avastha, there is a relationship and all that. But ultimately, the teaching is Brahman is a Karanam Brahma. About 30 verses of the fourth chapter are talking about Akaranam Brahma. He takes all the schools of thought and says there is no possibility of an origination of the world. Scientifically, he again and again, very beautifully scientifically, by using logic, Shankaracharya says Brahman can never be a cause for the world. Brahman is always causeless. Knowing that causeless Brahman only, you get moksha. Because the moment you are still in the cause and the effect, then you are still in samsara. You are not having moksha. The moment you are, that is why he says all the other theories, you can never get moksha because you are always looking at a cause effect. Cause effect is always in vyavahar. It is
Dvaita.
not Paramarthika Satyam. You're not rising to the Paramarthika Satyam. Paramarthika Satyam means beyond cause and effect. That is why in the seventh mantra it says Avyavaharyam. One of the words used for Turiyam is Avyavaharyam. That means it is not in transactions at all.
Yeah.
Avyavaharyam is a very powerful word. Very, very powerful word. That means the whole Vyavaharika Prancha you have to drop. Whether it is dream world, whether it is waking world or the sleep world, where there is no Vyavahar also you have to drop it. And then say, I am the Turiya Adhishtanam. That is why the whole three avasthas are called as Mithya. For Mithya can only exist if there is a Satyam. Satyam is Aham. Satyam is Turiyam. So you have to drop that notion of Karanam and Karyam. That is, Shankaracharya says, that is the junior Vedanta. Now you become a senior student for moksha. For moksha, what you need? Akaranam Brahman is required. Knowing that Akaranam Brahman as me, the Atma, gives you the moksha. And that is the ultimate last step, Shankaracharya, for the moksha, for the freedom from identification of the body and mind. And then after knowing that, after realizing that akaranam Brahma only, you will feel relieved. You will feel, otherwise what you will be thinking, you will be again and again coming back to this world and trying to analyze the world with reference to the Turiya, which all of us make the mistake in the initial, because that itself is the teaching. The teaching says you go through this stage, then you come to the fourth stage, the last stage, where it says akaranam. Till the third stage, it says there is karanam. There is karyam. Karanam, karyam, karanam, karyam. Again and again it will say. But chapter 4 of the Mandukya Upanishad is the final ultimate chapter, the first 30 verses of the fourth chapter, where he rips open all the theories. All the 12 schools of thoughts, theories are all completely dropped by logic. And then you accept what he says is the Swarupa Vaha. Good. Your question is very deep, but I know you've been asking this question many times. I said again and again, wait for the seventh mantra to, to be absorbed by your mind. So good, Vijay. Thank you.
Yeah, this only lets to understand that even our worries and sorrows are also akarana only.
It is ultimately, there's no part for that. See, that is why Shankaracharya says that don't analyze the world too much, because it is anirvachaniyam. Cannot be explained. Maya Shakti cannot be explained. You cannot try to keep on worrying about something or anything of the world. It doesn't require that, you're wasting your time worrying about it. Let it come, let it go. Take the life as it comes every day. Tomorrow morning you are alive, you see the sunrise, sunset, and you live another day. That's it. Thank you. Very interesting discussion today. It's been very, very deep. Anybody else has any?
Shekharji, the last concluding verse of the Drishya Viveka. I would probably call you. Maybe I will not delay it in the call. Maybe I'll call you later at your convenient time. It says, "Pratibhasika jivasya laye srivya vahapavahare tallaye sachdananda paryavastam sakshinaha." It only says with the disappearance of the pratibhasika jiva, that is the vyavaharika jiva. Example, it says is the existence, consciousness, bliss merge into the vyavaharika jiva. When that also disappears in Sakshin and he emerges, he equates Sakshin to be the Brahman here in Dridrisha Viveka, not in this one. So I just thought I'll talk to you on this maybe later.
No problem. You can call me on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll continue next week.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Namaste.
Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Hey, Shakti.
Oh, Bharat, how are you?
I'm very well. Fantastic lecture.
Yeah. Did you listen to the talk?
I'm sorry?
Did you listen to the whole talk?
I had to have a small break in between, but yes, I listened to everything, and the Q&A sessions are once again amazing. It's really interesting about the causality aspect of it, which we will hit in chapter 4, because I think understanding that will really cement everyone's understanding that the causal relationship, there must be a support for it.
Yes.
Seeing any cause implies a duality straight away, but I particularly like the way how Shankara explains Swarupa and Swabhava.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah. It completely opens up why duality can be experienced, but all the time you know that it's not real. It's you're seeing the name and form, and the content is consciousness. You're seeing the Mithya wave, and the content is who?
Very good.
Brilliant.
It's I mean, these two words, it really, the whole Vedanta is there in these two words. That's it. Swabhava and Swarupa.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm listening to Swami Sarapriyananda's Mandukya Upanishad, and he also has very lively Q&A sessions, especially for Karika 10, which I was listening to yesterday and today. It's amazing. I remember when I first heard it, I could not understand anything whatsoever. It all went over my head. And today I'm listening to it and I'm like, this is brilliant. It's absolutely fabulous. What everyone is saying is perfect. That there's no need to correct anyone, to change anything. It's all perfect. It's as it should be. It's um as you quite rightly explained. Yeah, I can't pronounce the word, but Maya is inexplicable. I can't say the word.
Anirvachaniya.
That's it. Sorry, my Sanskrit isn't very
It
good.
doesn't matter. The words doesn't matter as long as you understood the meaning. That's it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. Bye-bye, ठीक है?